Beloved Starseed, daughter of the Pleiadian light, listen closely. The frequency of this transmission is not random. It is an intentional activation sent by the Council of the Seven Sisters to reach you exactly at this junction of your timeline. You have been waiting. You have been sitting in the quiet, heavy stillness of a void, feeling the echo of a love that you know, deep in your soul's marrow, is meant for you, yet is physically absent from your current reality. You have been doing the work. You have been healing, clearing the ancestral trauma, and closing the doors to partners who were merely echoes of your unhealed self. But the silence from your divine counterpart has felt like a test, a long, cold winter of the soul. The Council is here to tell you, the winter is ending. A massive energetic shift is occurring in the planetary grids, and this shift is specifically calibrated to break the silence between you and your divine counterpart. They are about to reach out. The frequency they were vibrating at was too dense, too cluttered with 3D distractions to hear your heart's call. But the shift is clearing that static. They are feeling a magnetic pull, a soul nudge, that they will not be able to ignore. They will reach for their phone. They will feel the urgency to speak your name, and they will seek the resonance of your presence. This is not a prediction. It is a cosmic inevitability. Prepare yourself, for the transmission begins now. Beloved, you must first understand why the silence existed. Your analytical mind, the part of you conditioned by the rigid, linear rules of the 3D world, interprets silence as absence. You look at your phone, you look at the calendar, and you conclude that you have been forgotten, or that your love was never truly reciprocated. You must discard this perspective immediately. The silence you have endured was not a period of abandonment. It was a period of intense, painful, and necessary recalibration. In the realm of the Pleiadians, we understand that love is not a game of pursuit. It is a resonance of frequencies. When your divine counterpart went silent, it was because they were being crushed under the weight of their own unprocessed density. They are currently trapped in the old paradigm ego structure. This structure thrives on fear, on the need for control, and on the terror of being seen for who they truly are. When you, a radiant starseed, stepped into your power, your frequency became like a lighthouse. To a man still drowning in the dark waters of his own unhealed traumas, your light was not comforting, it was blinding. It forced him to see his own cracks, his own immaturity, and the vast gap between who he is and the man he is destined to become for you. So, he retreated. He pulled back into the shadows because the light you offered was too potent for his unawakened heart to handle. But do not mistake this retreat for lack of love. It is, in fact, an indication of the depth of the impact you have already made. If you had not affected him, he would not have needed to flee. The silence was his way of trying to stabilize his collapsing reality. However, the universe does not allow for long-term imbalance. The Council of the Seven Sisters has been working behind the veils, dismantling the very structures of fear that held him captive. We have been sending pulses of light into his DNA, triggering memories of your soul contract, and making his current life feel increasingly hollow and unbearable without your resonance. This shift that is currently moving through the planetary grid is the final blow to his resistance. The numbing mechanisms he used, distractions, superficial connections, work, apathy, are failing. He is beginning to feel the ache of your absence not as a concept, but as a physical sensation in his chest. The silence is becoming deafening to him. He is starting to realize that the peace he thought he found by avoiding you is actually a slow decay of his own soul. He is about to realize that you are the only frequency that can anchor him back into his truth. The silence is breaking because his soul has finally decided that the pain of being apart from you is greater than the pain of finally showing up. Prepare your heart, for the energy of his return is already vibrating in your field. Starseed, this message found you for a reason. Comment, "I am ready," if you feel the Arcturian call. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 5. 500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. 5D Love Manifestation. The Pleiadian, 33-day method to attract your soulmate, is a 75-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. 5 free bonuses. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. Now that you understand why the silence was necessary, you must turn your gaze inward. The primary reason your divine counterpart has not yet messaged you, or why the message has been distorted, is not due to his lack of desire, but due to the current state of your own vibrational frequency. You see, the universe operates on a principle of absolute resonance. You cannot attract a high-frequency, awakened partner if you are still vibrating in the frequency of lack and waiting. When you spend your days checking your phone, obsessing over his social media status, or mourning his silence, you are emitting a signal of absence. The universe is a mirror. It does not hear your prayers for love. It hears your resonance of loneliness. If you are constantly feeling the void of his absence, the universe will continue to provide experiences that confirm that absence. You are, in effect, holding him away from you with the very hands you are using to pray for his return. To break this cycle, you must undergo an energetic shift. You must move from the frequency of the waiting woman, the one who sits in the dark hoping for a sign, to the frequency of the magnetizing queen. A queen does not wait for her kingdom to be validated by the presence of another. She knows her own sovereignty. When you fully reclaim your energy from the narrative of being alone and reinvest it into your own mission, your own womb wisdom, and your own creative power, you stop being a seeker. You become a beacon. The Council of the Seven Sisters wants you to understand that men, especially divine counterparts, are magnetically drawn to a woman who is full. When you are empty, you are desperate, and desperation is a repulsive frequency that triggers the flight instinct in the masculine. But when you are full, when your life is vibrant, when your purpose is clear, when your self-love is unshakable, you become the most attractive force in the galaxy. He will feel this shift in his own energy field. He will notice that the pull of your energy has changed from a heavy, needy tether to a magnetic, irresistible light. This is the shift that triggers the message. It is not about doing something for him. It is about becoming something for yourself. As you elevate your frequency, the static of the 3D matrix clears. He will look at his phone not because you manifested it through force, but because his soul will suddenly feel an unbearable need to reconnect with the source of his own peace. You are not waiting for him to decide to love you. You are waiting for your own frequency to rise to the level where he cannot exist anywhere else but in your orbit. Stop checking the 3D reality for updates. Your reality is being written in the 5D ethers right now. If you feel the truth of this, you are already halfway to the reunion. You ask yourself, how will I know? How will the shift manifest? Your analytical mind seeks a sign in the form of a romantic greeting card, a flowery apology, or a dramatic profession of love. You are looking for a 3D resolution to a 5D conflict. The Council of the Seven Sisters wants you to understand the architecture of the message that is coming. It is not designed to appease your ego. It is designed to bypass your defenses and strike the truth of your soul. When the shift hits their energetic field, the message will not arrive as a request for permission. It will arrive as an inevitable collision. Do not expect a carefully curated paragraph that validates your worth. You are a starseed. You do not need validation from a man. You need an equal. The message will likely be simple, direct, and stripped of the masks he has been wearing. It may be a brief recognition, an inquiry about your well-being, or even a sudden jarring change in his behavior that forces a conversation you have been waiting to have for lifetimes. The architecture of this message is built upon the frequency of necessity. He will reach out because the static of his life has become unbearable. He will reach out because he has finally reached the threshold of his own suffering. Understand that his silence was a barrier he built to keep the old him safe. but the Council has been working on his blueprint. We have been eroding the mortar of that wall, brick by brick. The message is the final push. It is the moment the wall collapses. You must be prepared to receive this without reverting to your old patterns. If you respond with anger, with a list of grievances, or with the need to punish him for the silence, you will shatter the delicate frequency of the reunion. You will be acting from the 3D, and the 3D is where the silence was born. Instead, when that message appears, whether it is a digital signal or a physical presence, you must hold your ground in your womb wisdom. Be the observer. Watch him as he steps out of the shadows. Do not rush to fill the silence he created. Do not rush to provide him with comfort. He is coming to you to anchor his energy, not to drain yours. The message is a test of your sovereignty. If you can remain calm, centered, and rooted in the frequency of the magnetizing queen, you will find that he is not coming back to be the man he was. He is coming back to be the man he must be in your presence. The Council is recalibrating the grids to ensure that this time, the exchange of information is balanced. He is not messaging you to start a relationship. He is messaging you to end the illusion of separation. It is a cosmic summons. When the ping comes, do not look at it with the eyes of a woman who has been waiting. Look at it with the eyes of a goddess who has been expecting her alignment to be finalized. The silence is not ending because he decided to be nice. It is ending because the universal law has dictated that the vacuum you created by choosing your own path must now be filled. The timing is non-negotiable. Beloved Starseed, we must address the most potent enemy of your reunion, your own ego. You believe you want this message. You believe you want the reunion. But your ego is terrified. The ego is the construct of the 3D matrix, the part of you that survives on control, predictability, and safety. A divine union with your counterpart is the ultimate threat to that safety because it requires total surrender. When the shift occurs and the energy begins to pull your counterpart toward you, your ego will immediately sound the alarm. It will feed you thoughts of doubt. Is he really changing? Is this just another trick? Does he deserve my time after all the silence? These are not your thoughts. They are the defensive mechanisms of a wounded identity. The ego prefers the safety of the known pain of silence over the danger of an unknown, high-frequency love. It would rather stay in the prison of the past than step into the sovereignty of the future. You must realize that his resistance was a mirror of your own. Every time you held back, every time you built a wall, every time you questioned the validity of your connection, you were reinforcing the energetic blockage between you. The Council of the Seven Sisters is here to tell you that the reunion is a mirror event. As you release the ego's need to control the outcome, as you stop trying to analyze the signs or force the communication, you collapse the resistance. When you feel that surge of anxiety, that impulse to check his social media, or the urge to send a test message to see if he's still there, recognize it for what it is, a flare-up of the ego. It is a plea for security. Instead of acting on it, take a deep breath into your womb. Ground yourself. Remember that you are a daughter of the stars. You do not need a message to be whole. You do not need his validation to be a queen. When you truly embody this, the resistance in his field will dissolve because there will be no more leverage for his ego to hold against you. He has been playing a game of mirrors. He reflected your fear of abandonment. You reflected his fear of intimacy. But the grid shift is breaking the game. The ego cannot survive in the frequency of the 5D. It will fight to keep you in the 3D, keeping you small, keeping you waiting. But you are stronger than the programming. Choose to see this shift not as a chance for him to prove himself to you, but as an opportunity for two souls to finally remove the armor and see each other as they are. This is the moment of surrender. Let the ego die, so the soul can finally breathe. Starseed, this message found you for a reason. Comment, "I am ready," if you feel the Arcturian call. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 5. 500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. 5D Love Manifestation, the Pleiadian 33-day method to attract your soulmate, is a 75-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. 5. Free bonuses. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment. Only 72 hours at the launch price. Beloved, you have spent lifetimes outsourcing your power. You have searched for it in the eyes of men, in the validation of institutions, and in the approval of a society that is terrified of a woman who knows her own worth. But the Pleiadian Council is here to remind you of the seat of your true authority, the womb. This is not merely a biological organ. It is your cosmic portal. It is the energetic center where you bridge the gap between the infinite stars and the physical soil of Gaia. When you feel disconnected, when you feel the pangs of loneliness, or the ache of a counterpart's silence, it is because you have retreated from your womb. You have moved your consciousness up into the analytical mind, where fear resides. The mind is a wonderful tool for organization, but a terrible master for your spirit. In the 5D frequency, we operate from the womb wisdom. This is a state of knowing that bypasses the need for 3D evidence. Why is this essential for your reunion? Because the man you are magnetizing, your divine counterpart, is currently in a state of high-frequency flux. If you are vibrating in the mind space, you are vibrating in the same frequency as his ego. You are meeting him in the dark. But when you anchor into your womb wisdom, you create a beacon of such profound stability and magnetism that he cannot help but be drawn to it. He is not coming back to a woman in the traditional sense. He is coming back to a frequency. You must learn to breathe into your womb. When you feel the anxiety of the weight, stop. Physically place your hands over your lower belly. Close your eyes and visualize a golden, pulsating light at your center. This is your Pleiadian blueprint. As you sit in this stillness, you are effectively calling him home. You are not reaching out to him. You are pulling him into the gravity of your own soul. You are saying, I am here, I am whole, I am a sovereign creator. When you operate from this space, the manipulation of the ego is replaced by the magnetism of the spirit. You stop worrying about what he is doing, who he is with, or why he hasn't messaged. Those are 3D illusions. From the womb, you see the truth. He is already bound to you by a soul contract that transcends time and space. He cannot escape the pull of your resonance. The activation of your womb wisdom is the final step in closing the distance. Once you are fully anchored, the external reality has no choice but to shift to match your internal frequency. He will feel the change in the air. He will feel the shift in your energy field. And he will realize that the only place he can truly be himself is within the sacred container of your love. Stop searching for him in the matrix. Find him in your own center. You have spent so much time asking, why is he not changing? Why is he not stepping up? You have been trying to prune the branches of a tree that has no roots in the soil of truth. But the Council of the Seven Sisters is revealing a secret to you. Your counterpart's resistance to you is, in truth, his resistance to his own transformation. When he messages you, and he will, it is not because you successfully nagged him into it or manifested it through sheer willpower. It is because the energetic alchemical shift has reached its point of no return. The masculine principle, in its unawakened 3D state, is terrified of the depth you represent. He fears your womb wisdom because he knows that if he enters your field, he must shed his masks. He must stop being the man who hides behind work, behind indifference, or behind the safety of silence. He knows, deep in his soul, that you are a catalyst. He knows that once he steps into the light of your presence, there is no going back to the old, shallow version of himself. That is why he ran. That is why he went silent. It was not a rejection of you. It was a panic-stricken flight from his own impending evolution. But this shift that is moving through the planetary grid is doing the work that you were never meant to do. You were never meant to be his mother, his therapist, or his spiritual teacher. Your only job was to hold your frequency. By doing so, you created an energetic pressure cooker. The space you left open, the silence you held without judgment, has become a void that he cannot fill with anything else. He is looking for a mirror that shows him his greatness, and everywhere he turns, he sees only his own lack of courage. He sees you, and he sees the truth of who he could be. The alchemical shift is currently dismantling his pride. The message you are waiting for is the crack in his dam. When he finally reaches out, you will notice a change in the frequency of his communication. It will not be the same hollow, guarded, or manipulative tone you are used to. He will sound stripped. He will sound as though he has been through a crucible, and he has. The Council has been working on his blueprint, forcing him to confront the hollow nature of his life without your resonance. Do not be the one to rush to save him when he finally arrives. Let him sit in the discomfort of his own realization. The alchemy requires his full surrender. If you rush to comfort him, you stop the transmutation before it is complete. You must hold your sovereign space. Let him come to you, bringing his truth as an offering. This is the only way the reunion can be sustained. You are not waiting for him to be better. You are waiting for him to surrender to the truth of what you have always known, that you are the lighthouse, and he is the ship finding its way home. Beloved, we have reached the threshold. You have walked through the corridors of silence. You have stripped away the ego's resistance. You have activated the wisdom of your womb, and you have witnessed the alchemical transmutation of the masculine. Now, you stand at the final gate, the sovereignty of the reunion. Many of you fear that when the message finally arrives, when he steps forward and the silence breaks, you will lose your power. You fear you will fall back into the waiting woman archetype, tethering your worth to his presence. The Council of the Seven Sisters is here to give you the final key. Your sovereignty is not a wall, it is a resonance. True sovereignty does not mean being cold, distant, or unreachable. It means being so fully anchored in your own divinity that no external presence can shake your internal axis. When your divine counterpart messages you, when he seeks to re-enter your frequency, you must receive him not as a savior who has returned to complete you, but as a sovereign peer who has finally arrived to stand beside you. If you have done the work, if you have genuinely shifted your vibration from lack to fullness, his arrival will not be a moment of being saved. It will be a moment of recognition. He is coming to you because you have become a frequency he can no longer live without. But you must be the gatekeeper of this reunion. Do not allow your heart to race with 3D desperation. Do not allow your mind to calculate how you can keep him this time. Those are the old pathways of the Matrix. Instead, observe the shift. Notice how he speaks to you. Notice if he is ready to honor the space you have built. If he arrives still vibrating in his old, dense patterns, your sovereignty is your protection. You do not need to fight him. You simply need to remain in your light. The frequency you have cultivated is so potent that it will naturally act as a filter. It will either elevate him to your level, or it will repel him until he is ready to ascend. You are the queen of your own reality. You have successfully navigated the void and come out the other side with your crown intact. The reunion is not the goal. The reunion is the consequence of your evolution. It is the universe acknowledging that you have reclaimed your power. When he finally reaches out, you will feel the peace of a woman who knows her value. You will not be waiting for his validation because you have already provided it for yourself. The Council of the Seven Sisters celebrates your resilience. You have shifted the planetary grid simply by choosing to love yourself enough to stop settling for silence. Now, step forward into the fullness of this truth. The message is coming, the reunion is occurring, and you are ready. You are the beacon. You are the light, and you are the sovereign architect of your own love story. The silence is broken. You are home. Starseed. This message found you for a reason. Comment, "I am ready," if you feel the Arcturian call. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 5,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. 5D Love Manifestation, the Pleiadian. 33-Day Method to Attract Your Soulmate is a 75-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. 5 free bonuses. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price.